Hello and welcome to my Let's Play of Coalesce. This is not the full game, but I am very excited for the full game. Content warnings for... the splash screen had content warnings, but let me get the actual list. Nothing explicit in this part of the game, but pedophilia, incest... No, let me get the actual list. Okay. This game is recommended for those ages 16 and up for heavy subject matters such as mentions of child sexual abuse, mentions of pedophilia, and unreciprocated incest. Exciting stuff. I am genuinely very excited to play this. Okay. I really like how the hover effect has it crossing out the text. It's very ominous to start, and there's this white figure with something on their head, like they're experimented on. I actually don't know at all what this game is about besides the content warnings, but I know that this author goes hard, so I'm really excited. Preferences. Ooh, and there's some text. 1316 BD 401 on the left side there. Okay. Version 0.5. Okay. Start. Asa, whatever you do, do not open that door. Very, very cool intro there. Love the stark blue photorealistic door being taped off. Prologue. Vacant. A girl opened her eyes. The first thing she saw was a blinding white ceiling, coupled with a bright lamp. It was a sight that burnt into the girl's retinas, so she soon looked away. The second thing she saw when she did so was a white padded wall that seemed soft to the touch. The last thing she noticed was the cold, hard bed that she was laying on, its color also pure white. The psychiatric ward. Many have been there, many will be there. You're not alone, girl. The girl didn't have any idea on where this was, nor did she try to speculate, not because she already gave up, or that she didn't want to do so. She just couldn't do it. Her mind was empty. She could only perceive her surroundings, yet she couldn't process it in her head. She couldn't do anything. Just like a puppet whose strings had been cut. Ring the bells! Slam the alarms! They said the line! Woo! Let's fucking go! I can end the game now. The girl simply laid there for who knows how long. Seconds, minutes, hours. No matter how long it was, the girl was indifferent to the passage of time. Though eventually, she heard a noise. Very faint, yet rapid thumping, gradually growing louder. Suddenly, a banging noise followed. Once, twice, and then thrice. Each time the girl heard the noise, the room slightly trembled together with it. The girl might not have been able to think, but she still sat up, staring blankly at the padded wall, where the noises came from. A part of the padded wall then burst open. A man immediately rushed inside. Ace. Who's this fella? Not looking so good. He's looking stressed. The man was named Makoto Fujiwara. After yelling out loud, he took a quick break to wipe his sweat off and breathe. When Makoto's short break concluded, he strode towards the girl and placed both his hands on her shoulders, gripping it firmly. I'm kind of assuming that we're the white girl from the title screen. probably some isolated, experimented on kind of girl. Phew, thank God, you seem to be fine. I don't know what I'd do if you're... Are you my dad? Makoto covered his face while letting out a shaky, relieved breath, though he tried to compose himself in a hurry. Whatever was happening, it was clear that Makoto was chased by time. Damn it, I can't do it anymore, Ace. Sitting still and letting this happen, especially after knowing what happened to you. It just sickens me to my stomach. So please, I know you said you want this, but do you really want this? Oh, Ace, Asa, they do sound similar. She looks normal, and, well. The girl only stayed silent, not responding to Makoto's pleading. Ace? There was only silence coming from the girl he called Ace. What the hell? Makoto felt as though everything around him was starting to crumble. And yet, he stood his ground. He had to. Shit! Are you kidding me? Fine, let's just go. Realizing that nothing he said would get through her, Makoto grabbed Ace's hand and dragged her with him instead. The two quickly left the white room, into the ominous, long hallway, where the echoes of their footsteps were the only sounds they could hear. Makoto didn't dare waste a second. He sprinted as quickly as he could while dragging Ace with him. Ace's legs moved, trying to match Makoto's pace. However, perhaps Makoto was running a bit too fast for her. The girl's lower set of limbs became weak, and she toppled down to the floor like a rag doll. Makoto skidded to a halt and turned around, looking as if he would get devoured by his own anxiety. If not dad, perhaps older brother? Or just some kind of paternal figure. Oh. Haha! That looks sick as fuck. Story. I wanted to look. I don't know how far back this goes. Okay, I wasn't sure. I wanted to check. It has been third person the whole time, but it is focused on the girl's point of view. Ace, Asa. But he still tried to help Ace up in a rush. Come on, Ace. We can do this. I love the effect overlaid on the backgrounds. It's so, like, anxiety. Just a bit more, and at that moment, Makoto froze. What he saw standing a few feet away behind Ace chilled him to his core. A man stood tall, almost towering over Makoto despite their distance. He was gazing at him with a wide-eyed stare that showed no signs of emotion whatsoever. Dr. Fujiwara. Dr. Nieri! I believe that is my test subject that you're running away with. Ooh! Oh shit. Girl, it's over. Just say you were taking her for a walk or she needed to use the bathroom or something. I wonder, where are you leading her to? Please explain yourself, Dr. Fujiwara. This is... Dr. Nieri's empty eyes stared down towards Makoto, making him shudder. Yet despite his fear, he stood in front of Ace, shielding her from the man. Makoto could feel his legs about to give way, but he had to keep himself strong. There was just no other way, after all. Steeling himself, Makoto took a deep breath in and opened his mouth to speak. I'm taking her away, far away from this wretched place. I think there's a misunderstanding between us. From what I recall, Asa wanted this, did she not? So who are you to deny her this? Most of all, it is far too late for you to do anything now. Surely, you know that. Even so, it's always better late than never, right? You don't even know the whole story behind this, so who are you to talk? Neither of us can really decide what's best for her, but this is just too much. I get it. So this is simply an act of selfishness disguised as an act of heroism. What the hell? Now you're just putting words in my mouth. As if what you're doing isn't out of your own selfishness either. I never said it wasn't. Dr. Fujiwara, I need ASA 1316 BD 401 in order to advance our research. I wonder if these are random numbers or if they have meaning. Like, 401 makes me think of April 1st. Like, birthday, BD, birthday 401, 1316, I don't know what that is. But it's the same number that's on the save screen here, so definitely important. I'm thinking about the title of the game too, coalesce, like things coming together. Maybe they put her brain, or like they put someone else's brain in her body or something. This is not a request. This is an order and a warning. If I could, I would prefer not to lose you. You're valuable to this project, and I owe you one for helping me with my research before this. Besides, don't you have a family who's waiting for you in your home country? Do you want them to grieve over the fact that you died so young, trying to do something so meaningless? Damn. Just straight up threatening to kill him. Oof. Also, I noticed it looks like his jacket is dirty on the lapels, the collar. He's also wearing like a sports jacket under his little lab coat. I was trying so hard not to think of this comparison, but since his name is Makoto and he has brown hair and the little ahoge, I am thinking of Danganronpa 1's protagonist a little bit. I wonder if that's intentional or not. Think about your loved ones. Think about your decision thoroughly. You are still young, and you should not be wasting your life like this. That is all that I am going to say. Makoto could feel his resolve crumbling. His built-up stress and fear from earlier did not help with the situation. Eventually, Makoto began to shake his head weakly as he sighed. The girl simply watched as Makoto slowly walked over towards Dr. Nieri. You're right. This whole thing is stupid. I'll step back. Thanks for making me realize that, Doc. Makoto sluggishly walked past Dr. Nieri. Just as Makoto thought that he was out of sight, he slipped his hand inside his lab coat. As soon as his hand touched something cold there, he quickly grabbed and pulled it out. It was a pistol! Holy shit! He's got a gun! Watch out! Makoto tried to aim and shoot at Dr. Nieri as quickly as he could. However, oh shit, he also has a gun. Oof. Oof, that's a bad place to get shot. Not that there's a good place to get shot. I love how stone-faced Nieri is, just standing completely stiff, one arm up. Shot the motherfucker. Huh? Instead of shooting Dr. Nieri, Makoto was shot at by his target. You are a terrible liar, Dr. Fujiwara. The pistol on Makoto's hand fell to the ground, right at the same time as Makoto directed his gaze down towards the wound on his chest. Blood began seeping out of the wound and out of his lips. He then coughed a mouthful of blood out as he fell to the ground. And yet, despite the shock, Makoto still used the energy that he had to try to grab his own gun and shoot at Dr. Nieri. Though it was futile. With one more shot from Dr. Nieri, Makoto fell to the ground. This time, he did not move. Oh, poor guy. I feel like this is one of those things that's gonna get worse and worse in hindsight. Like, they're gonna make me attached to Makoto and reveal all the, like, good things he did. Or, like, I mean, they did say he had a family waiting back home, so, oof. Oh, I love that CG. Just like that, Makoto Fujiwara was dead. Dr. Nieri stared at Makoto's lifeless body. The only thing he could do was let out a sigh. The doctor turned around to face his quiet test subject. He seemed to observe her for a moment. No reaction whatsoever. I see. It was a shot to the head, after all. I suppose this makes sense. Keeping the rest of his thought to himself, Dr. Nieri held the girl's hand, dragging her back to where her room was. After bringing her back, Dr. Nieri left her with one more thought. I'm not sure if you'll register my words properly, but I will still say it. Remember the fact that Dr. Fujiwara died trying to save you. Ingrain it into your brain. Remember his sacrifice as you decide on what to do next. Remember it clearly. Those cold, emotionless words passed through the girl. She soullessly walked along with the doctor, her mind devoid of any thoughts. Chapter 1, Present. Nations. Nascence. Whew, heavy. Okay, so if this is the present, then that means the prologue was either in the past or the future. I mean, yeah. I wonder what happened to Asa. I'm so curious. I'm very, very curious of how the prologue will come into play. I just want to know more. After I recounted what happened, before I woke up for the second time, I finally opened my eyes. What Dr. Nieri said had echoed in my head as I stared at the ceiling. My mind kept replaying one scene for me. It was the death of Makoto Fujiwara. After I recounted what happened before I woke up for the second time, so this is the second time she's woken up in this state? So that was all flashback. She was thinking back on, like, what happened. Okay, just confirming timeline in my head. Someone who seemed familiar, and yet I couldn't remember any of our interactions beforehand. Though I knew for a fact that I used to call him Mako. Oh, no. I'm gonna be so sad, I know it. That he was friendly, brotherly, and sweet towards me, even before he died trying to get me out of here. Asa, why did you choose to be here? What's happening? I want to know! But what exactly did he normally do? How did we spend time together? Remember his death, huh? What a cruel thing to say when Dr. Nieri was the one who pulled the trigger. Though his words dug a blade into my chest. Mako's death was really weighing at me. It further proved that I knew and cared for this person deeply. The fact that I didn't remember him completely felt even more disgusting. This feeling of familiarity didn't stop with Mako. The room that I was in felt familiar, yet foreign at the same time. I even felt the same way towards Dr. Nieri. It was like we've met before. Everything that happened was so out of the ordinary, and I was beginning to feel overwhelmed. I tried to take deep breaths, and decided to distract myself from all of it by observing the room. It was in the same state as it was before. bland and maddeningly colorless, surrounded with padded walls that were suffocating to look at. The floor felt stinging cold against my feet as I sprang up from my bed. I circled around my room, meticulously knocking on the walls and the floor. I checked my bed, traced my finger against the metallic bed frame, and felt the mattress. There was nothing of note other than the security camera placed on the top corner of the room, most likely used to observe me. It was something I should have expected, but it was better to check than to assume. Searching for something. Oh, hey, a baddie has been spotted. No. H. A baddie has been spotted. She's got the lab coat, but she's got that off-the-shoulder edgy look. Guns are loud, so I'm assuming everyone else knows, like... I wonder if everyone carries a gun in this, like, laboratory office? Maybe it's quite dangerous, trying to keep people away from their secrets. And since guns are loud, I'm assuming she knows, like, a gun was shot. Someone died. She doesn't seem to care, though. Asa Argyrus. I wonder if that has any meaning. I was so focused on my observation that I didn't notice someone walking inside the room. Whoever she was, I did not get a good feeling from her, so I put my guard up. Not that there was anything I could actually do to guard myself physically, but guarding myself mentally was better than nothing. It's interesting on the third person point of view, she's like so passive, Ace. Ace is so passive and like just standing there like she's not feeling anything, but then now that we're in her first person point of view, she is feeling something. She felt disgust at herself, I guess it's like she feels these things, but she's very dissociative, like it's at a distance. So, let's start with introductions. I'm Frida Hines. Call me Dr. Frida. I'm from the Mind Division, Memory Subdivision, yada yada. Boring stuff, who cares? I'll basically be looking at the state of your memories. Any questions? Confusion, maybe? Because you're probably very confused right now. Determined to give me the silent treatment, eh? That sure is a line to say while blushing and smiling. Arvin told me that you like to talk back to people, so there's no need to feel shy. It's always fun to see the subjects bite back, even when they know that it'll make things worse for them. Ah, a sadist. Whew! So you're saying that the idea of punishing the subjects excites you? Good. Now I know what kind of person you are. I'm sorry to say that I won't let you have your fun. My biggest condolences. Big talk for someone who has nothing to defend herself with. And you're actually glaring at me? How cute. If only you could see the way that you're hugging yourself right now. What? Trying to soothe yourself after realizing you're not as brave as you thought, little girl? She yapped, as if she wasn't as tiny, if not tinier, than I was. Oh, I'll definitely have my fun with you. Let's see if you can keep up that attitude once the experiment truly starts. Something was wrong with her. I didn't know what, and I didn't want to find out. So I only stared at her, not wanting to give her more amusement by responding to her taunts. Now, Frida. Twin girl? Staring at that incest content warning, I saw one of the walls open. I made sure to remember the fact that there was a door there before fully focusing on the newcomer who looked exactly like Frida. A twin sister? Calm down. It wouldn't be fun for us if you broke her right off the bat, would it? Miller, there you are. I was starting to think that you bailed on me. I wouldn't do that. You should know better. But enough of that. I should introduce myself. I'm Miller Hines. I guess you can say that I'm Frida's twin sister. I'm from the mind division, specifically the brain subdivision. There will be a total of 3 people looking after you. I will observe your brain's condition and well-being. Frida will take a note of your mental state and the condition of your memories. And Dr. Nieri will observe your body and its changes. He will also be leading most of the research. Basically, he calls the shots. Yeah, that's the gist of it. Now, on to our next obligation. Miller, what was it again? Oh, come on. This is supposed to be your part. Whoops. Sorry. Blame Arvin for being boring during his explanation. Don't bother apologizing when you don't even mean it. Guess I really have to do all the talking, huh? Since your ID is 1316BD401, I'll call you 01 for short. We need to know what your current state of mind is like. Asa. Huh? Call me Asa. The 2 sisters only stared at each other before Frida smiled at my response. Whoa there, already refusing to be referred to as a test subject, huh? Who wouldn't? Is it so weird for someone to prefer being called by their given name instead of random numbers and letters? I swear, whenever you open your mouth, you always bark. All bark and no bite. This girl really doesn't know her place. It's so funny and miserable to look at. I almost feel bad for you. Frida, please. You're derailing the conversation. Let poor Miller do your job for you, and let's just get this done with. Oh man, you're so funny. I can't. As Frida moved aside, only to continue laughing at nothing, Miller just shrugged. Okay. I guess that kind of answered my question. So you remember your name? Yes, it's Asa Argyrus. Miller nodded as she took note of my answer onto her clipboard. What else do you remember? I remember waking up before this and seeing one of your peers die right in front of me. Oh, that. Shot by Dr. Nieri, right? I only nodded. And before that? Okay, yeah, so they do know and they do not give a fuck. I mean, I already assumed, but this institution is extremely fucked up. Do you have all your memories from your earliest until the most recent? Are they in chronological order? I closed my eyes to try to think and to remember. Eventually, I found my answer. No, I remember my childhood, but everything beyond it is murky and jumbled at best. For example, I think I know who Dr. Nieri is, but I don't remember any of our interactions before. Right. Gotcha. For now, try to think back to your past and go from there. If your memories come back that way, then we don't really need to intervene. Oh, we don't? Wouldn't it be better for us to step in anyway for 01? Oh, sorry. I meant Asa's well-being. Freak. Come on, Frida. I certainly hope they don't intervene. God knows what they'll do to my head. Or what they've already done to your head. Hold on, speaking of my head. When I suddenly became aware of it, I put a hand on top of my head and felt an abnormal bump instead of my hair. I felt it again as I traced my hand on my left temple. It felt like there was something underneath my skin. Just the thought alone made me shudder. Miller, what are these bumps on my head? Those? I think you should ask Dr. Nieri instead. Yep, we only know brains, not whatever you had going on there. The thought of asking that wide-eyed doctor made me hesitant, but there was no use pushing Miller, who knew nothing of my circumstances, so I just sighed in resignation. I decided to ask what she would know instead. Then how about our location? Could any of you answer that question for me? I can. You're in Heinz Laboratories, specifically in a building called the Testing Center of Genetic Engineering. Okay, so their family owns the laboratory. Genetic engineering, ooh, that's, don't love that. Sorry for the pause, I took a drink of water, and I'm not editing this because I don't have time. The room we're in right now is called an Intensive Observation Room 01, or IOR 01 for short. Heinz Laboratories, huh? Do the two of you own the lab? Nope, our dad does. Nepo babies. It seemed that I was in the presence of important people here. I vowed to watch what I said from then on and continued with my train of thought. I didn't take a look at. So it's like the slutty one and the conserved one, but they're both freaks. Got it. The names being thrown around by the twins did not sound unfamiliar at all. I finally decided to ask a question that had been bugging me. Have I been here for a while? Yep. Truth is, we've been killing you over and over, and you forgot your memories each time, so we kept having this talk, and it's getting so boring. Oh, interesting. Something, immortality testing? Huh. That's very interesting, assuming she's telling the truth. Now you're just saying whatever you want. Don't listen to her, Asa. She's lying with that one. What an accusation. What if you're the one lying right now? I was starting to lose my last bits of patience, so I decided to tune the sisters out. Thankfully, their banter was cut short by the sound of the door opening. I don't know, I'm not sure if she was actually lying. I feel like maybe it's a case where, like, she said the truth, knowing her sister would call her out and be like, nah, you're not supposed to tell the patient. And it's, like, such an outrageous truth that she doesn't care, because she's like, Asa won't believe me anyway. Like, she's just having fun. I don't know. It would make sense with the genetic engineering stuff. Ah, the third freak has arrived. But unfortunately, the person who walked in turned out to be the wide-eyed doctor himself. Oh, hey, Arvin. We've told her the basics. You don't need to bother with those. Yeah, and she told us that she only remembered her name and her childhood memories. I suggested that she should try to think about her past first to help her recover her memories naturally. If that doesn't work, we'll take a look at her head. I see. Thank you for your brief report. Also, Asa has a question for you. At that, all eyes were on me now. I simply gulped before I asked my question. These bumps, do you know what they are? Yes. It's a sign that your body has healed. Healed? But this doesn't feel like a bump of a healed wound. As I uttered those words, I realized something. If it was truly a healed wound, then what happened to my head? Didn't Dr. Nieri say something about a shot to the head before? He sure did. Well, theory, if Asa got shot to the head and then healed from it, then maybe Mako is gonna come back because he got shot in the head. And if this is, Chekhov's gun, something like that, you don't accept that a person is dead, that a character is dead until you see a body. And we did see a body, but until we see that body is not coming back. I believe in Mako. From the corner of my eye, I saw Frida smiling like a maniac on the side. It was as if she was anticipating something interesting to happen. It only amplified my fear as I turned to look to Dr. Nieri. Still with the same expression, I saw him swiftly pulling his pistol out from his lab coat. Oh, we're gonna reuse that spray more than once, huh? Ooh, boy. The same one that tragically took the life of Mako. What are you doing? I stepped back until I hit the wall. I could feel my breathing quicken, and my chest began to feel tight. My eyes frantically darted around, hoping for someone to save me, or at least hoping for there to be something that I could use against them. However, there was nothing. It was a miracle that Mako tried to save me. A 1-in-a-million miracle that ended in tragedy. It was luck, something I couldn't rely on. Though, what else was there in this deserted, isolated room for me? Nothing. There was nothing. My mind tried to deny it, but I knew better than anyone. The fact was that I was surrounded by 3 researchers who were more than eager to study me and treat me as less than human. It was as if I was merely cornered prey that could do nothing, as it was surrounded by a pack of wolves. Ignoring my dread, Dr. Nieri simply approached me. There was no hint of remorse on his steps. Then he pointed his gun at my head, all while he was looking down on me. A demonstration for you, and an experiment for me. It's as simple as that. GG, good game. Thanks for playing. Chapter 1 Nations passed. Well, so Frida was not lying. But then why would Miller deny it if they were gonna do a demonstration right away? I saw a familiar, comfortable room. I guess we're digging into her memories now. That's right. This was the room where I spent most of my childhood being cooped up in. It was a bit minimalistic and bland, though my parents preferred it that way. They didn't want any posters plastered on the wall, only some photos, and that was it. My room itself wasn't really that big. It would cause me to feel stuck during some days, some bad days. Homestuck? But I hopped down from my bed and went to a shelf in my room to grab a book. There, I saw myself reflected on a mirror located beside my shelf. Oh, this poor girl. Oh, I feel really bad. I don't know what happens, although you can kind of infer and theorize based on those content warnings, but this poor girl. How did she get to that point? Right. This was me when I was around 12 years old, wasn't it? Stick thin and sickly pale, I looked like a breathing corpse. Apparently, my body was born physically weak. I was even diagnosed with severe combined immunodeficiency, SCID, when I was a baby. It meant that I was born with an immune system that did not work properly. My mom said that I received stem cells from her twice, and that I was already treated, though my immune system was still considered weaker than others. Therefore, my family was still very overprotective of me, especially since I was the youngest daughter in my family. They kept me mostly inside and homeschooled me. I rarely left the house, aside from medical checkups or family gatherings. Even so, I still had to be extra careful during my brief time outside. It was suffocating, yet I never dared to go against my parents' wishes. I, too, was scared of my fragile body's limitations and the thought of it breaking into pieces. Man, the contrast with her young self being so weak, and then her present self presumably being able to survive getting shot in the head multiple times? I'm just so curious. How did she end up there? How I wished that I could forget this period of my life and simply move on. But how I wished I had a choice. I had to trace back my memory in order to remember my present, after all. My hand hovered to a familiar book, its spine already worn out as a sign of my diligence reading through it. The title was Botany for Young People, How Plants Grow by Asa Gray. Ooh, flower themes. She's got little flowers in her hair. She has the same name as this author. Maybe she was named after this author. Different last name, though. However, just before I could grab it, I heard the door to my room creak open. Whoo! Oh yeah, flower theme. Her name is Lily. Hooey mama. Asa, sweetheart. Mom. Just wanted to let you know that lunch is ready downstairs. Okay, thanks. I also have some good news. Dad and Al will be coming home next week. The only ones usually at home were me and my mom. I had a dad and a brother, but my dad was a busy man and my brother was a busy university student. Them coming back home at the same time was always the highlight of our dull, lonely life. Asa does not look too happy about it, though. Ooh. No, actually, my mom still managed to liven up the house, even if it was just the two of us. I really admired her cheerfulness at times. That's great, Mom. Right? I'm thinking of cooking a feast for all of us when that day comes. Do you have any suggestions or requests, Asa? Requests? Of course, anything my mom cooked tastes amazing, but there was always this one dessert that I loved from her. How about pavlova? Oh, sweetheart, I probably should have said aside from pavlova. That's already on my list. She said as she showed me her phone. Pavlova was indeed written there. Oh, thanks, Mom. Something else, then. I think I've heard Al saying that he really enjoyed eating Italian food lately. There's this Italian restaurant that he visited once every few weeks, and he mentioned he liked the lasagna there, I think. Fuck, now I want Italian food. I could go for a lasagna. I should eat after this. Mom listened intently to what I said, typing it all down on her phone with one finger. The sound of her long, artificial nail filled the room as she did so. So, lasagna and maybe some other Italian dishes. All right. Baked fish for Dad should be good. Then it's settled. Thanks for helping me out, sweetheart. You really helped a lot, especially since I had no idea what to cook for Al. You know how his taste changes a lot. It's been a while since we cooked a huge menu for a special occasion. I can't wait to get started already. Yeah, it'll be fun, Mom. Poor baby. Poor baby. Oh, should we decorate the house? It's not every day they come home, so why don't we go all out? Decorations? I think that's a bit overkill, but it's not as though I have anything much to do at home, anyway. Sure, let's decorate. Great. Thanks for going along with me, sweetheart. What kind of decor should we go for? Do you think a birthday-esque colorful decor works, or should we stick with a simple yet elegant decor? The sound of laughter gradually faded away. The day where my dad and brother came home soon arrived. All four of us sat down together to eat the menu that my mom and I cooked together. The dinner table and some parts of the wall were covered with colorful decorations. There were some toys on the table, a rainbow-colored balloon spelling out, "Welcome home," taped to the wall. We even popped some confetti when my dad and brother got home. Thanks to Mom's idea, even though we haven't met in a while, the atmosphere was still fun and comfortable.
Thank you for the dinner, and for the lively welcome, you two.
Of course, darling. Welcome home. I'm sure you two are famished, so enjoy the dishes Asa and I made. I promise it tastes wonderful. Albert.
Haha, I don't doubt that.
Alonzo. Oh, I saw this guy on not Twitter, Blue Sky. He was in between the twins from Rotten Angel. He has some scars on his hand, it looks like. Interesting. Also the bandage over his nose.
Italian food? How did you two know that I've been into it lately? Familial instinct?
You told Asa about it, silly.
Did I?
Forgetful as always, huh? I took the time to remember it for you. Don't just dismiss it as instinct.
Still so snarky as always. I'm glad you stayed consistent.
I'm sus of everyone in this family.
Thanks for remembering, Asa. I appreciate it.
Said Al as he rubs my hair, purposefully messing it up as a way to tease me. Albert, Alonzo, Asa, and Lily. She's the odd one out. If you appreciate it so much, then stop messing up my hair.
And what are you gonna do about it?
I'll eat your lasagna. Before he could react, I dove to his side of the table and scooped a good amount of lasagna into my mouth.
What? Hey, don't scoop that much.
Spit it out. What, like she's a cat? I ignored him and gulped it down. Ew, Al, do you really want to eat a chewed lasagna? Gross.
You little.
You two are as lively as ever. Al, dearie, you do remember you're in university, right? And yet you still banter like a kid. You heard her. Time to be more mature, Al.
What? I'd say you're the one who's too mature for your age, Asa.
Danger, danger, alarm bells, red flag, red flag. I mean, maybe I'm overreacting, but that's always the line in those cases.
I agree with Asa. You need to keep your act together, Alonzo. Be more serious with school. I heard from a friend of mine who works there that you've been skipping class. I've enrolled you to a prestigious university and it costs a lot. Do not waste it.
Ugh. Hearing Dad's words, I could see Al tensing up. He sat up straighter as he simply listened with a stiffened expression.
I'm telling you, if you continue to study hard now to continue my work, you'll have a secure future. This is all for your sake, but it'll mean nothing if you don't want to put any effort into it. Fiddling with your toy robots is fine, but keep it under moderation. Unless you plan on actually making something useful with those trinkets.
Dear, I'm sure Alonzo has been trying his best so far.
Lily, you're being too lenient on him. It's better to scold him now before he gets worse.
I get that, but This is our first time meeting after a while. That could wait, no? You've scolded him a lot before this. I'm sure he knows.
Mom, it's alright. Dad has a point. I'm sorry, Dad. It's true that I've been skipping. I won't do it again. How about you say it like you mean it, young man? This kind of attitude won't get you anywhere.
Huh? And what made you think that I didn't mean what I said?
I've raised you my entire life. I know you just said that to end the conversation early.
Then what am I supposed to say? Nope, I'll just do whatever I want. You can just go to hell, Dad. Is that better?
Alonzo. I squirm in my seat. All that effort to make this dinner happy. And for what? My throat tightened as I gazed between my mom, who was trying her best, my dad, whose anger had begun to leak, and my brother, who looked even more tired than he was before. I tried to open my mouth to stop the conversation from blowing up, but Dad was quicker to voice his frustrations toward Al. Getting brave enough to talk back to me, are we? This is why I told you to stay away from that ruffian friend of yours. You're adopting his bad habits.
Why are you bringing him into the conversation? He has nothing to do with any of this.
Because he's a bad influence to you, and I'm worried, Alonzo. It starts with you skipping classes and talking back to me. Who knows what you'll do next? Participate in uncouth parties, unprotected sex, drugs.
Enough!
All of a sudden, Al slammed his hands onto the table as he stood up, glaring intently at Dad. Seriously, I'm going to lose it.
Oh my god, I got so invested in voicing I haven't commented at all, but like, holy shit. Woo! I knew there were problems in this family. I wonder if his friend is gay. That's the common thing, right? It's like, oh, your friend is like, that's the common thing.
He's being a bad influence on you, blah blah blah.
I sympathize with Alonzo, but I'm also still sus of like, maybe he's gonna like take it out on his little sister because he's so frustrated, or maybe the dad will. I don't know. I'm assuming that Asa is the subject of abuse, or in that case.
Mocking my friend like that? You have no idea that he's the one who's been with me during my lowest, did you?
Of course you didn't. You never spent any time with us. And now you act like you're worried? No, you're not worried for me. You're just worried for your reputation.
Alonzo Argyris, sit down.
Ooh, the full name. If you're really, genuinely worried for me, then you wouldn't have forced me to continue your work. You're not stupid. You know how much I hated it. But you didn't care. You didn't care at all. So why should I care? Whew. I love Hereditary.
Nothing to say to that?
Yeah, I thought so. The girls are fighting! With that, Al strode away upstairs to his room. I heard the sound of a door being slammed before silence befell us. It was brief, yet felt unbearably long.
That boy is really getting more and more rebellious as time passes.
Dear.
Was I being too harsh on him?
Well, I think the timing was just bad. You two just got home and are obviously tired. Asa has a point. Look, you and Al both have really bad eye bags. Finish your meal and cool down, dear. I'll talk to Alonzo and give him his plate. After you two calm down, you should have a talk.
Right. Thanks, Lily.
Don't worry about it. Mom grabbed Al's unfinished plate, filled it up with some more food before she went upstairs. The two of us continued to eat in silence. When I gazed up at Dad to see how he was doing, our eyes met, and he immediately looked away. I noticed that Dad had been acting off lately. It created this invisible wall between us, and I didn't know why. We were pretty close before, but I simply put up with the awkward atmosphere and continued to force myself to eat, even though my appetite had long since gone. After that, Dad and Al reconciled, but their relationship didn't seem to improve. They kept being stiff and awkward around each other. Things ended up being the same, if not slightly worse, for them. I suppose that some people just couldn't mesh well together, no matter how hard they tried. Just like that, my daily life continued. I was stuck in my room as usual. Dad already went back to work, and while Al was still staying here, he was going grocery shopping with Mom at the moment. I wasn't allowed to come with. Oh yeah, 'cause she's weak. Poor baby. My only company was my books, of course, though I couldn't focus on anything today. I began to remember that some days just felt like this, feeling so trapped and so useless that I couldn't muster up the energy to do anything. This 12-year-old, look at her, look what you've done, you gave her depression. At the end of the day, I always blamed my weak body for it. There wasn't a single day where I didn't resent it. Then, it dawned upon me. Did I act upon my resentment? Was that why I became a test subject in the first place? 'Cause she hated her weak body, so she wanted to become strong, but then people took advantage of her. Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna end this episode here because it's gotten quite long and I need a little break. I'm so excited to read more. I want to know what happens. Amazing work, Sylvan! Let's fucking go. I can't wait to read more. Bye-bye.